Ow, I'm Henry's cat, and I got a job as a cartoon animator. But it ain't quite right. And then I'm in disguise, so nobody can guess who I am.
Good evening, madam, or should I say, Mr. Henry's cat.
Just watch me pit my wits against a dastardly rum beanie. Henry's cat. Oh, hello, I'm Henry's cat with my friend Chris Rabbit, jingle writer extraordinaire. Oh, but what's even better is once upon a time, when we meet Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Snow White, the Big Bad Wolf, Little Red Riding Hood, and so many witches, we don't know which witch is which witch. Oh, oh, Henry's cat.
So yeah, I'm talking about this guy. Hello everybody, welcome back to Path of Nostalgia. In this video we're talking about Henry's cat from 1983, if I'm right about that. I think it is 1983. So Henry's cat, what is this show all about? Well, first things first, it's created by Bob Godfrey. For those who remember, who are maybe grew up in the 70s, or maybe are also familiar in maybe a bit of the 80s, maybe in the late 2000s, I don't know, but he created a character called Rhubarb, something like that olive green dog, had like misadventures or something, and he also did something, I can't remember what it was called, like short videos, and it's on a DVD commentary called Instant Sex. That's for the adults. If anyone knows that, you know, that's for the adults, not for kids only. But he did like a little sketches to do with, you know, adult rated stuff, if you know what I mean. And then we've got Henry's cat, which is pretty interesting. It follows the adventures of said character Henry's cat. Well, that's his name actually, because obviously he's basically a person's cat called Henry, yes, but we never see the character of Henry at all, which is quite interesting. He hangs about with a blue rabbit called Chris, and they go on manic adventures. He's basically Chris is more like the crazy neighbour, one of your crazy friends who's basically up and down, high on. Well, he's basically high as a kite, if you know what I mean. Also, there's other characters like a bulldog, that's a police officer. You've got, I think there's a snail in one of them, there's a donkey. There's quite a few characters like he hangs about with. And the adventures he goes on are sort of, you can say they're out of this world. Some of them are some of the early ones are simple, but when you progress on to something like maybe from series 2 and to 5, I think it is, it gets all different and weird, and the stories will become more interesting and more well written, I think. You know, they had a bit of depth to, if you know what I mean. I think that's about it, really. That's Henry's cat in a nutshell, if you really understand what I'm saying. So, how did I get into Henry's cat? Well, back in my younger days, I had some VHSs from the late 80s, from 87, and they were distributed by a company called Pickwick Video, which had they had another company called Screen Legends, actually. And I had 2 of these, actually. And at the beginning, they used to show a trailer of the said show that I was watching on tape. And following that, there was the promo for Henry's Cat, and it basically showed the episode The Secret Weapon, when you have three bald-eyed aliens who are from Jupiter to invade Henry Cat's home. Well, it's basically his neighborhood, actually. And you have scenes like the aliens stamping on the bulldog, the policeman bulldog's cap. They had them showing up signs and saying "boo" over the fence and scaring the crap out of humans. And you've had Henry's Cat just with a little bit of short little telescope looking up into the moon, I think, and seeing if the aliens are coming. And he says something like, remember something, there are blue men from Jupiter, invent something, I'll be back in 20 minutes. That's all I can remember. That's the only line I can remember for it. And it has this weird 80s, like, do, something like that, like cheap synth, like squashy synth sound to it. And there's a video, in the video, I think it said Magic Tummy Button and Other Stories, I think it is. Or Magic Tummy Button and 12 Other Stories, something like that. And it ends with a meow and just gone. And the actual video just started. So that's my sort of introduction to Henry's Cat. And I didn't actually watched it until probably for the inspiration of 2012. Again, this stuff is coming up again. I remember looking into it and thought, it's interesting. The theme of it is quite interesting, because he has like these little synth meows in it as well. Like, I can't, like, it's like a teeny sound of a meow, like a cat's meow, and this very cheap like synth little do something like that, like happy-go-lucky little beat to it. And you watch it, and Bob Godfrey narrates entire everything. He animated it, he directed it, he produced it, and he actually does a narration of it as well, which is quite good. I mean, his narration's not bad on it, I do have to admit. And as you can see from said video, which is at the beginning, you can see he has like a recognizable voice for Henry. Like, I actually can't really do that. I can't do an expression of what Henry's Cat is, but it's quite funny. It's like obnoxious, like he's a bit like middle class, but also has this idiotic type thing with him, I would say. Like, he's like half and half. Like, he's 50% stupid but smart, I think. And also Chris is like high pitched, energetic, and it all works that way. And yeah, I would say. And you have some episodes which are quite interesting. I mean, one that springs up to mind is obviously Secret Weapon, of course, is one. Magic Toy Button is another one. It's like Indiana Jones type rip-off episode, I think it is. And you have another one which is like Valentine's Day or something, when they host like a Valentine's show. It's those shows, like, if I remember, I think they do these in America, I think, or like a blind date thing. Well, it's like you have two, I think you have like three men sitting on a stool, and behind the doors you have three women. All it depends how it works, and it's sort of interesting. And like one of the friends or someone on television's crying, who's actually maybe a neighbour of Henry's Cat, who needs love, and things will go wrong. Things sort of go well smoothly at first, and then this guy called, was it Rampumbat or something like that? Like, it's like a Jack the Ripper type sheep, very much, who's very cliche villain, I would say. Who basically enters the talent show competition and well, I don't know, just takes the woman or held to prison or something like that. I think that's how it works. I don't know. And that's all I can really think of about this. So yeah. And that was actually the last episode, I think it was. And after that, Henry's Cat just faded away. I mean, because it was in the 80s it was. So I think it did have some repeats, I think, in the 90s, I think. But since then, well, I mean, you had a complete DVD release in the early 2000s, which is all right. But since then, nothing. I mean, Bob Godfrey's done to do other work, and Henry's Cat, considering it's done for about 5 seasons, I can imagine. Like, it's been around for a couple of years. It's done well. People recognise it. Well, at least certain people do recognise it. the whole generation just don't really understand quality TV these days. I mean, that in itself is sort of simplistic and interesting because it's in like in a blank universe. You've got colourful characters. You have very off the wall stories, which is funny. I mean, another funny thing that springs to mind is he has a television and it has a built-in toaster in it. What the hell's that? I mean, it's just pretty bonkers stuff like animation. You know, with animation you can do anything. You know, you can think of absolute anything. You know, and one notion you can think of like, oh, we could just do a TV but with a toaster built in. You know, and it shoots out toast. Okay. So, right, I gotta stop baffling about this show. So, Henry's Cat. It's an oddity in itself. It's quite off the wall sometimes, but it's interesting. I mean, Bob Godfrey has done a fantastic job with this. It's his own creation because obviously he puts his stamp on all sorts of everything. You know, the animation, production, stories, and narration, of course. And I do recommend watching a few episodes if you're interested. It's sort of something I can remember from childhood, but not really. You know, it's a brief glimpse of what I seen in childhood, but I never saw it fully until years ago. So a few years back, actually. So yes, that's all I can say about Henry's Cat. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye.